Zed and Nora discuss things.
Hey everyone. The other day I was listening to this podcast and it really got me thinking, and I wanted to share some thoughts with you guys.
Oh, yeah. What was it about?
Well, it was all about famous cartoon dogs.
Cartoon dog.
Yeah,
Ugh.
like all the classics.
Hmm.
And I got to tell you, it really got the nostalgia flowing.
Oh, I bet. I mean, who doesn't love a good cartoon dog? They're like a staple of our childhoods.
Totally. And this deep dive is going to be all about exploring those iconic canine characters
Hmm.
and really thinking about like what makes them tick and why they've stuck with us for so long.
I'm in. So, where should we start?
Well, the podcast talked about like a ton of famous dogs,
Yeah.
Pluto, Snoopy, Scooby Doo, Brian Griffin. Even Spike from Tom and Jerry got a shout out.
Oh, yeah, Spike. He's a classic. Tough, but with a soft spot for Jerry sometimes.
Right. But what's interesting is I was listening, I realized like almost all of these famous cartoon dogs are dudes.
Huh. You're right. Now that you mention it, yeah, it's like a total sausage fest.
Exactly. And the podcast host, they brought this up too. And I was like, yeah, why is that?
Hmm.
Like, were male dogs just seen as funnier or more adventurous back in the day or what?
That's a great question. It could be something about, those early animation styles. Maybe it was easier to create like expressive male characters.
Maybe. Or maybe there was this like idea that a pack of girl dogs wouldn't cause as much chaos and mayhem.
Uh-huh. Yeah, maybe the animators were worried about things getting a little too wild. But
Mm,
seriously, it does make you think about how representation in cartoons has like evolved over time, right?
big time. But speaking of evolving, remember how the podcast got into that whole debate about Goofy? Like, is he a dog or a cow?
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. So where do you stand on that? Team dog or team cow?
Come on, those sloppy ears, that goofy grin. He's got to be a dog, right? Case closed.
Well, not so fast. Remember those old Disney cartoons where Goofy's hanging out with a whole herd of cows? And let's not forget that moo-like laugh. There's definitely a bovine element there.
Okay. You've got a point. But maybe that's what makes Goofy so iconic, right? He's this, like, hilarious hybrid, a walking, talking question mark.
Totally. And that's a great example of how animators use anthropomorphism, like giving human traits to animals to create these characters that we connect with.
Yeah. It's not just about drawing a cute dog. It's about, like, giving them a personality, a history, making them feel real, even though they're, cartoons.
Right. And that whole world they live in, it often reflects our own world, even if it's through this like wacky cartoon lens.
So we've got these lovable, influential cartoon dogs, a surprising lack of lady dogs, and a mooing mystery wrapped in a dog suit named Goofy.
It's more than just a trip down memory lane. It's like a window into how animation and our culture have like grown up together.
For sure. And it leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Like, what do these cartoon dogs say about us, the people who love them?
That's the real deep dive. What made these characters so memorable for you? And how do they reflect the world we grew up in? Think about it.
Definitely something to chew on, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.